You don't need to be louder. You don't need better lines. You don't need to impress anyone. Yet somehow, some people walk into a room and instantly change the atmosphere. People lean in. They listen. They feel calm, drawn, curious. Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Most people do the opposite. They talk to reduce their anxiety. They explain too much. They chase validation with words. But the Stoic doesn't speak to be accepted. He speaks only when it adds weight. In the next sections, I'll walk you through 6 short phrases, each rooted in Stoic wisdom, that signal calm confidence, emotional control, and presence. Used naturally, they change how people feel around you. Not because you're clever, but because you're centered. Let's begin with Principle 1, the phrase that instantly separates reactive people from those who are impossible to ignore. Principle 1, I understand. Most people don't listen to understand. They listen to reply. They're already forming their next sentence, already defending, already trying to look smart. And you can feel it. That's why conversations today feel exhausting. Now imagine this instead. Someone is speaking emotionally, maybe complaining, explaining, even venting. You don't interrupt. You don't correct them. You don't rush to fix anything. You simply look at them and say, "I understand." And then you stop. No explanation. No follow-up justification. Just presence. This phrase is powerful because it does something rare. It makes the other person feel seen, not analyzed. Most people crave to be understood more than to be agreed with. When you say, "I understand," calmly and sincerely, you signal emotional maturity. You're not threatened by their feelings. You're not trying to control the situation. That's magnetic. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." Saying, "I understand," is tolerance in action. It shows self-control, the Stoic ability to remain steady while emotions move around you. Here's what happens internally. You're not reacting. You're choosing stillness. And externally, people relax. They slow down. They start revealing more. Because silence, backed by understanding, creates psychological safety. This isn't manipulation. It's restraint. Stoicism teaches that you don't need to dominate conversations to hold power. You hold power by not needing to. When you say, "I understand," you communicate 3 things without saying them. I'm present, I'm grounded, I don't need to prove myself, and that combination makes you unforgettable. Next, we'll move to Principle 2, a phrase that instantly separates calm confidence from hidden insecurity. Principle 2, take your time. There's something most people never notice. The fastest person in the room is usually the most anxious one. They answer immediately. They explain too quickly. They rush because silence makes them uncomfortable. Now contrast that with someone who listens, breathes, and then calmly says, "Take your time." This phrase is subtle, but it's powerful. Because you're not just giving them permission to slow down. You're proving that you are not in a hurry, and nothing signals confidence like patience. Seneca warned us about this centuries ago. He said, "Nature has given us 1 tongue, but 2 ears, that we may hear from others twice as much as we speak ourselves." When you say, "Take your time," you embody that wisdom. You're showing that you don't fear pauses. You don't fear uncertainty. You're comfortable letting moments breathe. Think about a real situation. Someone is explaining themselves. Maybe they're nervous. Maybe they're choosing their words carefully. Most people interrupt. They finish sentences. They rush the moment. But you don't. You lean back slightly, maintain eye contact, and say, "Take your time." Suddenly, the pressure is gone. Here's why this creates attraction. People associate calm with strength and urgency with neediness. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Patience is visible self-control, and self-control is deeply magnetic. There's a third voice we should listen to here: Socrates. He believed wisdom often appears after silence, not before it. When you slow the moment down, you allow depth to emerge. This phrase tells people something without saying it directly. I'm not chasing outcomes. I'm fully here. I don't need to rush this, and that energy changes everything. Next is Principle 3, a phrase that quietly communicates boundaries, without ever sounding defensive. By now you may be noticing a pattern. The most magnetic people aren't trying to control the moment. They're comfortable within it. And this brings us to Principle 3, a phrase that reveals emotional independence in just 5 words. I'm okay with that. Most people feel an invisible pressure to agree, to explain, to negotiate their worth in real time. Someone cancels plans. Someone disagrees with you. Someone chooses differently than you hoped. And the reflex kicks in. Why? What did I do wrong? How can I fix this? But the Stoic response is different. I'm okay with that. Not passive, not cold, just grounded. This phrase communicates something rare. You don't anchor your emotional state to other people's choices. Epictetus put it simply: if you want to be invincible, make yourself independent of the goodwill of others. When you say, I'm okay with that, you're practicing exactly this. You're not resisting reality. You're not chasing reassurance. You're accepting what's outside your control. And that's where the attraction happens. Because emotional self-sufficiency feels safe. People trust those who don't need to be rescued from disappointment. They sense stability. They sense maturity. Here's the quiet power behind this phrase. It sets boundaries without aggression. It closes loops without drama. You're not asking for approval. You're not withdrawing either. You're simply standing still and steady. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Accept the things to which fate binds you." That acceptance doesn't weaken you. It centers you. And notice this. When you stop resisting outcomes, people become more curious about you. Because you're no longer predictable. You're no longer reactive. This naturally leads us into Principle 4, the phrase that signals quiet leadership and invites others to meet you at your pace. When you stop reacting, when you stop needing immediate answers, you create space. And space is where authority quietly lives. This is where Principle 4 comes in, a phrase that signals calm leadership without force. Let's see. Most people feel pressure to decide instantly, to take a side, to promise outcomes they can't control. They say yes too fast. They say no too sharply. They speak before reality has revealed itself. But the Stoic does something different. Let's see. 2 simple words. Yet they communicate patience, confidence, and openness all at once. You're not avoiding responsibility. You're respecting uncertainty. Seneca warned against premature judgment. He who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary. When you say, let's see, you refuse to suffer in advance. You stay present. You stay flexible. Think of a real moment. Someone asks for a commitment or pushes for a reaction. Most people feel cornered. They rush to respond and lose leverage. But you don't. You pause, breathe, and say, let's see. Here's why this creates attraction. It signals that your life isn't chaotic. that you're not ruled by impulse. People trust those who don't panic in uncertainty. They follow those who can wait. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years." That wasn't a call to rush. It was a reminder to act deliberately. Let's see is deliberate strength. And notice what happens next. When you don't chase clarity, others start offering it. They explain more. They slow down. They adjust to your pace. This naturally opens the door to Principle 5, the phrase that deepens connection, by removing the need to control outcomes altogether. When people feel judged, they close up. When they feel understood, they open. And this brings us to Principle 5, a phrase that lowers defenses instantly. That makes sense. Most conversations turn into quiet battles. Who's right? Who's smarter? Who gets the last word? But Stoicism teaches something different. You don't need to win the moment to earn respect. When you say, "That makes sense," you're not saying you agree. You're saying you see the logic from where they stand. That distinction is crucial. Socrates understood this deeply. He didn't argue to dominate. He asked questions to understand. As he famously taught, the beginning of wisdom is the definition of terms. When you acknowledge someone's reasoning, you create clarity instead of conflict. Imagine someone explaining a decision you wouldn't make. Most people interrupt with advice, or subtly correct them. But you don't. You nod slightly and say, "That makes sense." Here's why this is magnetic. People associate understanding with intelligence, and calm intelligence feels safe. You're not threatened by difference. You're confident enough to allow it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant." His solution wasn't resistance, it was understanding. By saying, "That makes sense," you disarm ego, both theirs and yours. You replace tension with connection, and connection is where influence begins. But there's one final step, one phrase that brings everything together. The phrase that signals true Stoic presence, not approval, not detachment, but inner freedom. That takes us to Principle 6, the quiet sentence that makes you unforgettable. By now you've seen it clearly. Magnetism isn't about control. It's about self-trust. And this final principle brings everything together. I'll handle it. Most people outsource responsibility. They complain, they wait. They hope someone else will fix things. And without realizing it, they signal helplessness. But the Stoic response is different. I'll handle it. Calm. Simple. Final. This phrase doesn't seek validation. It doesn't dramatize the problem. It quietly communicates competence. You're not saying you control the outcome. You're saying you control your response. Epictetus said it best. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When you say, "I'll handle it," you step fully into that truth. You accept responsibility for what is yours, your actions, your attitude, your effort. Here's why this is deeply attractive. People trust those who don't panic, those who don't over-explain, those who take ownership without noise. You don't need to announce strength. You demonstrate it. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Do not waste time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." "I'll handle it" is action over words, presence over performance. And notice how this naturally leads us to the end. After understanding, after patience, after acceptance, boundaries, and calm clarity, we arrive at responsibility. In the final part, we'll step back and see these 6 phrases for what they really are. Not tactics, but qualities of character. Let's step back for a moment. These 6 phrases were never just words. They are signals of character. I understand. Presence. Take your time. Patience. I'm okay with that. Emotional independence. Let's see. Calm leadership. That makes sense. Quiet intelligence. I'll handle it. Responsibility. This is Stoicism in action. Not domination, not manipulation, but inner order. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, the best way to influence others is to improve yourself. When you embody these qualities, people feel safe around you. They slow down, they listen, they remember you. Because true magnetism isn't loud, it's grounded. Now I want to hear from you. Which one of these phrases will you practice this week? Leave it in the comments. If this video helped you see attraction differently, subscribe to Stoic Modern for more calm, powerful lessons on self-mastery. Speak less, mean more, and let your presence do the work.